This video will contain minor spoilers for both seasons of Arcane League of Legends, as well as vague discussions relating to classism, substance abuse, and prejudice. Viewer discretion is advised. The punk aesthetic is heavily associated with political and societal rebellion. There are plenty of examples of this in media, including Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which features the character of Hobie Brown, also known as Spider-Punk.
That is when I'm not playing shows, antagonizing fascists, staging unpermitted political action/performing art pieces.
As well as Nimona 2023, in which the titular character of Nimona would, by this metric, also be considered punk.
And this ain't that kind of story.
Arcane League of Legends, the Netflix animated series based on popular video game League of Legends, is no stranger to the punk aesthetic. The most obvious example of this comes in the second season with the gang of Jinx's followers. However, that is not what we are here to discuss today. No, today's video is part of a community collaborative project entitled Hopepunk Scene, the collective playlist of which will be linked in the description. The point of this project is to make a video essay discussing one scene from media that, by the creator's judgment, fits the term hope punk. If punk is rebellion, then hope punk would be hope as rebellion, choosing hope in spite of adversity, choosing to be optimistic even when things are bleak and the odds are against you. When I first heard this concept, a number of examples sprung to mind. The Owl House definitely has a few scenes that fit the bill. Pretty much every contemporary play or musical explores these themes. Hell, even the live-action Monster High movies fit. No, I'm not even kidding. But, as the title may suggest, I eventually landed back on Arcane. Go figure. Now, Echo's character as a whole is pretty much the by-definition embodiment of hope punk, both in aesthetic as well as action. This extends to his group, the Firelights, but diving all the way into that is a bit beyond the scope of this video and the project as a whole. No, the Hopepunk scene I would like to discuss in this video comes in Season 1, Episode 7. It's the first time that one of the main characters, Vi, has seen her childhood friend, Echo, in years, and this particular scene is him showing her where he's been living. Now, he lives in the Undercity, which is generally pretty grimy, depressing, and dangerous, but at some point, he found a small opening where a giant tree was growing, and he built his home and a community around it. Frankly speaking, a lot of this scene is Echo and Vi talking about Vi's sister, but what I'm really focusing on here is how Echo talks about this community. As I previously said, the community is built around a tree, which stands out to the audience because of how chaotic and unpleasant the Undercity has previously been shown to be. You wouldn't expect something like a giant tree to grow and thrive down there. Vi, who grew up in the Undercity, is understandably surprised when she sees this and asks if it's real. This leads Echo to say this line.
Pretty cool, huh? When I first saw it, I knew this was the place. If a single seed can make it down here, so could we.
This, I feel, pretty clearly outlines the hope aspect of hope punk. He even goes on to explain that most of the people in the community were addicts and victims when they came in. This tree and the community surrounding it is a rare pillar of hope and even whimsy in the otherwise rough Undercity. The punk part comes when you look at the community as it weaves itself into the story as a whole. Specifically, most of the members of this community compose a group called the Firelights. As I said earlier, to fully analyze the Firelights is outside of the scope of this video, but what I will say is that they are another rebellious group that sometimes interferes with fights for the sake of protecting people, especially those from the Undercity, and they do come up in this particular scene in two ways. First of all, the obvious part, you see people in the background flying around on the Firelight hoverboards that have already come up in previous action scenes just for fun. They are using the punk thing for fun, whimsy, and an expression of hope and joy. More notably, though, is when we see this character, who goes by the name Scar and is voiced by Robbie Daymond, who I just can't seem to escape. He's one of the main Firelights we see in previous action scenes, but Here, we get to see him as he is normally. When he's not in battle, he seems like a nice guy, and we see here that he even has a child. This character, whose primary function to the story is to be part of a collective group of vigilante fighters, is thriving and has a pleasant life in this hopeful community that was built in an otherwise grimy and unpleasant area. And all this, to me, makes this just one Hopepunk scene that's out there in media. If you liked this video, or if you hated this video but you find the topic intriguing, then consider checking out the other submissions for this project. Again, the playlist will be linked in the description. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and have a nice day.